I worry about every single day. I try not to show that. Being a father figure and being the individual I am, you try to be as confident and as hopeful in these situations. But of course, it's they're still my babies and my children, and you have to worry about that. You'd rather want something happening to you than to your children. And I think that I'm more concerned about my son because he's back at school in the UK, at boarding school. And whether this is going to get me in trouble or not, I don't know. But most of them don't wear masks. I don't, which is just silly if you ask me. Everybody should be wearing masks, especially the teachers. So yes, there's a big concern. My son, thank goodness, my wife Nicolette is over there with him. She's decided to stay there because it's his exit now, and it's better off her being there than him being alone. But yes, we talk about it. But Hans, what do you talk about? It's a situation where you can go round and round, and who's right, who's wrong, where did it evolve from, where are we going? Nobody really knows, to be honest. And I tell you, the one interesting conversation they had with me is if and when the vaccination comes around, would we take it as a family? And it was a very interesting question because you have to think about that. There's been a lot of people that have taken these vaccinations and sort of maybe 5-10 years later, they have side effects. So these are the questions that the children and as a family you're asking. But besides that, you're just hopeful that you live every day and get by. Well, I'm very fortunate that, yes, my priorities have changed, but I'm very fortunate that, I go to work very early, and I'm fortunate to be around what I love and what I do. And then I get home, have dinner and chat to the family and go to bed. I think the people that are affected most is the younger generation. And don't say I'm old now. I'm just, it's the younger generation and people like my daughter who used to enjoy catching the MTR to get to friends and meet them for a sociable evening and catching an Uber or mostly the MTR home. Well, now the biggest concerns are the transportations, catching the MTRs. She would rather drive, but then there's the risk of which she doesn't drink much anyway. You don't want to drink and drive, and then you still have to park and so forth. So it has become a big problem. They were just getting used to loving and accepting and using the transportation available to them. But now it's all changed over the last 6, 7, 8 months. I'd be in trouble because I wouldn't know what to do. I'd be overthinking it. I'd be trying to solve problems that are probably unsolvable. But more so, I'd be more worried about my family. At the moment, at least with the work that I have and the hours that I work, it takes my mind off it. And fortunately, my daughter is around the stables every day. So she's with me. And my wife, as I said, is in the UK. But honestly, Hans, if I didn't have this job, which is from morning till evening, I'd be in trouble because I'd be trying to solve things that are unsolvable. You try and solve things because you're overthinking and you're overdoing things, and suddenly you find yourself in a state of depression. And I think there's a lot of people in that state which are denying it, and it's very unhealthy. I can tell you from my perspective is you've got to get out there, do something physical, go for a run, go for a hike, go for a bike ride. We're fortunate enough in Hong Kong that everybody is very clinical and very aware with the masks, with washing hands, with the sanitizers. But if you don't get out there and actually do something physical, which is mentally stimulating, both physically and mentally, you're going to be in big trouble. Fortunately, I ride work every day, but even when I have an easy morning, which means 2 or 3, and that doesn't mean that I get here any later, but I will go for a hike with my daughter. We'll go for a bike ride. I just cannot be locked up in an apartment with what's going on. I try and avoid it. I do get the newspaper delivered daily, and I go through it briefly, but I think it's depressing watching and reading what's going on, and the riots and so forth, and worldwide, and they want bars. Anyway, you know all about it. The bars been opening, restaurants, and they want to go to the beaches and so forth, and I think it's depressing. If anybody has ever been to Monty Roberts and done a course with him, they'll obviously be aware that he's a gentleman that deals with people as well. A lot of the army soldiers, a lot of people that have been mentally disturbed through situations have gone to Monty and have worked with him, with the horses. And it was amazing to see when they actually find this trust in the horse, how a big soldier and an Air Force pilot, whoever they may be, can be sobbing because they get and find that release. So yes, it has helped me. It's helped me with these difficult situations, but it's made me both mentally a better and stronger person to deal, I wouldn't say with this situation we're going through, but to deal with other situations, and helps me through these times. I think very much so. I lost my dad when I was 9 years old, and I'm the only son. I've got 3 sisters, and my mother had to work 2 or 3 jobs to put us through schooling and so forth. And I left home at 13 and joined the academy, and I always knew I was going to make a go of it. But having said all that, when you go through times and people take advantage of you, if you get to the 3rd time, well, then you're a stupid person. So, I've trusted, and I've been very fortunate to be associated with a lot of good people. But with that comes disappointment, and with the disappointment teaches you to become harder and learn from, not maybe mistakes, but learn from situations and relationships, and don't allow them to happen again. Because if it happens again, then you're the dumb one, nobody else. So I do have a very probably different character to a lot of other jockeys. I'm a lot to myself. I do have very close friends, but I don't have a lot of jockey friends that I socialize with, because I don't like disappointment. It's easier for me to keep my jockey rivals as friends. As my jockey friends as rivals and not friends, and just keep it competitive and clean and respect. And that's as far as it goes. I would say I understand racing more. When you're a jockey, yes, you do your track work, you do your trials, you do your homework, you do your fitness. You've got a lot of time on your hands. Whether you gallop a horse in the morning or barrier trial it, you don't see that horse again until the next time you work it, or the next time when it runs. Being a trainer, fortunately, I get to ride them, feel them, come home, deal with them, and watch them blossom and improve, hopefully. So it's a lot more time consuming, but a lot more beneficial. And I'll tell you something, when you watch your horse that you've been working and preparing for a certain race, and you watch everything with a different perspective, it's the emotion, first of all, the clinical side of it, that everything has to be precise. And when a guy does the wrong thing, you see faults that jockeys don't see. And I'm telling you, and if any jockey wants to bring me up on that, I'll explain it to them. You read races differently, because all of a sudden, you as a jockey back and you tell the owner or the trainer, this happened, average run, not that good. But they don't analyze it accordingly or thoroughly, because they just move on to the next race. And I am left with my horse, who I go home with and put some more time into, fix it up again, and possibly wins next time. And, you do something slightly different, but you also try to prove that individual that his comments weren't absolutely correct, and he should view things differently. So it's been a big eye-opener, and I think I'm a better judge now at sectional times watching a race. I was always very good during a race with timing. But now when you sit down and watch a race, and you can say, at the 600, please make a move, go. But I'm not on them, and I can't do that. And obviously the jock can't hear me. But when you come back and you hear, they report, geez, I just wish that they'd taken off at the 600, because that's when I was coming into the race, and that's when I had to break his stride. And those sorts of things now, it's very clinical to me, and it's clear, and it's something that has become, or something I'm better at now than what I was. Because when you're a jockey, you look at the replays for the horse that was unlucky, or you look at your ride and you see things differently, that who got in my way and who kept me 3 wide. But now you're seeing things from a big picture and a different perspective, and you're making a better assessment of the whole race, not just your ride or just the horse that was unlucky that you want to ride next time.